But he's a guy who's not afraid to sling it in no matter what the circumstance is. We saw him take a sack. Hey, baby. What's going on?
2 hours later.
Sorry for the interruption, folks.
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me. Hurt my feelings.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Jay Rich, Jordan Richards. Welcome back to the station, Destination Devi. And I wanted to take a quick moment to talk to you about Tua Tagovailoa, the new starting quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. Now, what does this mean? What does this mean? What do we do? How do we evaluate this going forward? We all told you to draft Tua super high in your Superflex leagues. 1, 2, right behind Joe Burrow. Even number 1, if that's the choice you wanted to make, because we all loved what Tua did. We still remember that freshman balling out in the national championship with the game winner to true freshman Devonta Smith, another highly touted wide receiver out of Alabama. Tua is probably one of the most highly regarded prospects when you just think about his talent, especially in the collegiate level. We saw what that kid can do, and really, if it wasn't for that hip injury, he could have easily been the number 1 pick in the draft, even ahead of Joe Burrow. Now, Joe Burrow put up a historic season, but Tua is the guy who's been getting it done since he was a freshman, since he was a sophomore, since he was a junior, not just having one spectacular season like we saw out of Joe Burrow. What does this mean for all the weapons? Now, obviously, Ray touched on this in the offseason, talking about Tua Tagovailoa in this video here. But what I want to really touch on is, what does this mean for these pass catchers? Because Tua is a player that can do it all, but I'm really curious kind of how this is going to play out. They're going to take the bye week, they're going to figure it out. How are they going to reshape this offense to fit what Tua can do really well? Now, one thing I will say, I think this bodes really well for Myles Gaskin. Myles Gaskin's already been an incredibly productive running back, despite having a very limited draft capital and kind of not a whole lot of reasons why you should believe in him, but he has produced. And I do think Tua being able to have some of that read option, being able to run the ball a little bit more than Ryan Fitzpatrick will as more of a threat, will open up some running lanes for Gaskin, especially in the running game. And obviously in the play action game, Tua is going to be deadly. But one of the players I really wanted to touch on is actually tight end Mike Gaskin. Mike Gaskin is a player who I think will fit really well with what Tua does, because Gaskin is going to be the guy who stretches the field in the seams. Now, if you ever watch a game from Alabama, they love to run seam routes. They love to have their guys in the slot run up the seam, and Tua, Mac Jones, whoever the quarterback is, hits them in stride right once they get in front of the safety's face. Now, Gaskin could be a guy with his wheels, with his catch radius, and his leaping ability, could be a massive target for Tua over the middle. We've already seen what Devontae Parker and Preston Williams can do, and I expect them to continue balling. But if you do own Devontae Parker, you may see a shuffle in targets because Tua hasn't played with him as much as Ryan Fitzpatrick has. So there is some natural regression that may come just because we don't know how Tua is going to favor these receivers, who he's going to like the most, whether it's Parker, whether it's Williams, whether it's Kasich, and kind of how these targets will break down. We've already seen that natural chemistry between Devontae Parker and Ryan Fitzpatrick, which is why Devontae Parker was a great option for fantasy. But now with this change in quarterback, we have to expect there will be a change as well as far as the target breakdown, because for all we know, Tua and Preston Williams love each other, and Tua likes throwing to Preston because he's a 6'5" beast, much bigger than Devontae Parker and with a bigger catch radius, so it may just be a more natural fit, seeing a lower coverage, being open more often. And obviously Preston Williams is getting a lot of red zone looks even from Ryan Fitzpatrick, so I would expect that to continue. But if they see more favorable matchups, then Tua may opt to go that direction. Now, beyond that, it's very difficult to kind of say what's going to happen. I do expect Miami to have an excellent game plan for Tua. They've had time to kind of figure out his skill set, to watch him in practice and realize these plays that may help him. But in Dynasty, what does this mean? What can we expect from Tua going forward? I would expect Tua to be a top 12, top 15 quarterback because of his rushing upside. We all know what he can do through the air, but I do expect him to still have to run because this team isn't very good. The offensive line isn't the best, and they still need improvements going forward. But with the weapons that he has, I expect all of them, Gaskin, Parker, and Williams, to be involved heavily in that offense. And Obviously, we've seen a stretch of matchups that's been very favorable and where the Dolphins have performed very, very well. Hopefully, Tua can keep that going, keep this offense rolling. Myles Gaskin can help supplement through on the ground game, playing really well. And Tua will continue to show out in the NFL. This is honestly a moment that I've been waiting for like crazy because I loved Tua as a prospect. He was probably my favorite quarterback to watch by far. He's just so electric. He can do everything. He can make all the throws. And he's just a super dynamic talent, much more so than we see from Burrow and from Herbert. When you think about just all the raw skills that he has, he's easily my favorite quarterback in the draft class, and I expect him to be the best quarterback in this draft class going forward. And I really like what Miami's doing. I like what they're building, and I can't wait to see kind of how they develop him going forward, because we fully expect another wide receiver to end up on this offense, whether it's Devonta Smith, whether it's Jalen Waddle, that they bring in out of Alabama in the first round to really supplement that receiving core and bring in a guy that Tua's already very familiar with. So, with that being said, thank you guys for checking out this video. If you want any more content, let me know. Drop me a comment, drop me a like. Let me know what more kind of stuff you guys want to see. I just wanted to touch on Tua a little bit because it's some breaking news, some really exciting news in the NFL. And I expect Tua to really ball out in the NFL. Honestly, like if he could be a top 12 quarterback, that'd be great. But he's a guy who's going to be very difficult to get in Dynasty right now. Very, very difficult because he was such a highly priced asset. He was like a 5th round startup pick. He was a top 4 or 5 rookie pick in Superflex leagues. He's going to be very, very difficult to get. But if you can try to get him for a reasonable price, I think it's something that's worth paying. If an owner is maybe trying to unload him for a better asset to help them win now, Tua could be a guy who could help you win down the road. Again, thanks for checking out this video. Drop me a comment, drop me a like, let me know what you think. Until next week, until the next time I make a video, I'm out. Peace.
Team Mac Production.